The Divine Comedy. Co-readings. Interpretive co-readings. The Divine Comedy. Interpretive co-readings. Canto 1. Stanza 1. Existentia. Stanza 2. Inconscient. Stanza 3. The L's. Life, love, leavings, and learnings. Stanza 3. Variation 2. Dost apothine. Variation 3. Hymn of host. Variation 4. To a tellings of a holy place. Stanza 4. Est twis apothine. Stanza 4. Est twis aberthine. Stanza 4. Est twis aberthine. Aberthine. Stanza 4. Est twis aberthine. Stanza 5. Sacramentine requitance. The calling on to self-recognition. An interlude whist welcome, forth a serenading. Stanza 6. Withstanding before the cradling arc light and shelterment inst light a dine. Beloved apothine, impartine peace. Third variation of stanza 6. Lullaby with tear. The Hallow. Stanza 7. Stanza 7. The Hallow. Mary est doth a blessed. The nurture of the love in existentia. Variation 3. The abirthed nurturing forth a song. Stanza 8. The forbearing walk. Forth is to walk. Variation 2. Baptism. Outcry for a living. Stanza 9. Fromst the water's bed, the breath betwixt oth breathings o'er, elegy to belonging. A tome thine to the most. Stanza 10. The lifting of a gaze upward beckoned, a still on path, a steps made to light. Lay woven appertaining. Rejuvenation resumptive. Stanza 11. A begun. Night and meadow amidst veiling moonlight. The meadow moonlit veiled. Manuscript to choir cherubs, angelic. Manuscript angelic. Gilded chapel on hallowed. Stanza 12. Pulpit to pew, true affortment of prayer is for the another. Variation 2. Love forthwardly, restful beeth love to longing forth. Variation 3. And from below, welcome the alms and hands arise. Variation 4. Replacements. Stanza 13. Assailed light onto sky till nigh or yonder breaks. Till nigh or yonder morrow breaks. Similar variation. Stanza 14. To yonder Stanza 14. To yonder poised, mine 'twiz stancings had been afound. Steppings of firm, ast swirled withence, cascadent the aloftings, reached of grasp of hands doth grasp, grasp doth reached of hands, the rivulets of soul thine, with true art pass, fourthly low, sailed refractments are thine, the coursing holy shelterment, fromst are thine cangia, ants on height. Stanza 14. Variation 2. Forbear unto thee thy hope and stillment, dost forbearant hope, and stillment est peace. Stanza 14. Variation 3. The rippling from still, cupped hands received of offerings, clasped as the pour to the drink and washings, reflection returned, doth reconcileth a die. Variation 4. Stanza 14. Estuary. Stanza 14. Variation 5. Gently gather the carry, and forbear from thee welled. Gently gather, and be steadfast in carryment from well. Include. Stanza 15. Approachings. Yearned for the portentine peace, the stewardly art to be in keeping, the lucid holdings onto the living, earthly affollowment, est a placement, and beest thy appease, withant thy walkment. A forthcoming of depart, dost. Stanza 16. A thine aboundment, the restriction of the path betwist above thine allowance, appertine unto a one. Variation 3. Wisted arth withant the gale, a solid the minor, arrested in glide the assailing onto sun. Arrested in glide the assailing unto a doth one. Findest a hold onto the afforded, dost a light, and fervent unto sky, whence the light fromst dost fruit. Flickereth, awist, thrice, awist, a highest, a light. The restillment repositioning. Stanza 17. The restillment repositioning onto the pathing encroach. The restillment repositioning onto the encroach. The restillment repositioning onto the pathing. Amidst winds, the turbulence, a transfigurance from a down, onto feather avian on anst, the tailed wind gale, to recoil and offer truance anew, the flightings, with true time, noused in its against. Stanza 18. Inst dive and toss, resurgent winds doth cast, the assail fromst glide, flew whist feathered anst a dash forth against, the sprunged and snare withant its flung, and toe to the afar uplift. Be attuned inst thy way, the goodly and keep the tone of the tilled morrow, and lullaby with amidst the befallen and shelterment night. Variation 4. Stanza 18. With, through, beest thine affordment. Stanza 19. And whence thy down doth rescind the shade, and whence thy dawn doth rescind the shade, knowest of the shelter anew inst the harrowed, brought forth from nigh, where upon the earth the flowered petals do bed, annaled in the learning, a lurking from testaments held. Stanza 20. Rooted in grove. Stanza 20. The beest